Hello, good morning. It's a lovely Thursday, not as cold as it was yesterday. Yesterday was freezing cold. Today is better. And so, please, can we have some greetings? We apologize for coming late. We have some technical challenges. I have a guest that is also struggling to come on, but here we are. And so that's why I won't be able to come on video because of the same technical challenge. Internet has just been a challenge. But nonetheless, if you
Hello?
can hear me well, then we're good to go. This Thursday, as you all know, we have been coming live, from Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursday is my day, prosperity for your soul. We speak from different angles of our lives. We speak from different areas of our lives. And so I will soon be introducing my guest, but I just want to give you just a highlight of what is going on. I need you to understand that we have already launched Evolve. Okay, we have already launched the Evolve Academy. We have started with mastery courses. We are doing amazing, career mastery. We are finishing this week and having one-on-ones, amazing, highlights coming on from the mastery classes. On Tuesdays, we've been having business mastery. You have never seen it. I would want to encourage you to really enroll in one of the classes. Talk of the marriage mastery. We are having very candid conversations. Some of you are failing to navigate your way in your marriage. It's because you haven't mastered the art of what you're supposed to do with certain challenges that you get to face. Leadership, my God, we are doing leadership mastery and just having amazing insights from understanding self leadership to knowing how to manage other people, because you may actually be good at managing other people, but you may be failing in self leadership. So we are dealing with all those things. And then Fridays, we have been dealing with branding mastery. Oh my God. People are learning how to optimize their posts and just to understand digital marketing. You need to be part of what is going on and what is trending in order for you to just leverage on your brand. Very important. So today, I'm going to invite my guest, a woman who's making waves in a space. She's a specialist in governance, corporate governance. She's a lawyer, and we met. It's those people that you meet once, and it's like you've met them a lifetime. When I listened to her in that conversation, I asked her, where is the book? Because what you are talking about and what you're doing, generations need to hear, generations need to read, because she's just an amazing expert, a sought after speaker. And so this morning, please do help me virtually to welcome Leah Ngoma. Liam Tonga Ngoma or Liam Ngoma Mtonga, whichever one, because those names come from the same place. So please, you are welcome, Leah. Speak to us. Here we are. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kangwa. Thank you so much. And hello to everybody in the studio. I've already been introduced, but I think I'd like to start from where Dr. Kangwa left off when we met and how we met uh, and what she advised me to do. I think what she's omitted to say is that she went ahead and introduced me to my now editor, Mr. Sydney Kasanda. And from what she said to me, I had a little more confidence about writing a book. This is my first book, so I was quite hesitant. So, in terms of the book, it is a book for a very large audience. It's not just for those who are already practicing in the area of corporate governance. It's even for those that aspire and those that are growing in the practice. And I describe it as an aid to navigating and surviving the corporate governance landscape. Dr. Kangwa is asking me to come on video. I think that it will affect the quality of the call. I don't know what's going on from your end, but it's stable now because my camera is off. Would you still like me to try, Dr. Kangwa? Hello? 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 I'm sorry, I don't think I can hear Dr. Kangwa if you're speaking, but I'll just carry on. I was saying that the book is an aid to navigating and surviving the corporate governance landscape. And it's based on experiences that I have had as a young corporate actor and growing through the ranks in terms of the structures of corporate governance. I didn't start from where I am now. I was very young and at a very low level, experiencing governance and growing in that regard. And so that's what the book is about. And as we go along, I think I'll highlight some aspects of the book that I think can be useful, especially that this is a mentorship forum. In terms of where the book can be found, at the moment, the book can only be ordered by paying into a mobile money account on Airtel. The number is 0971 650 976. And you can pay through Airtel Money and just WhatsApp the notification to the same number. And we'll deliver or we'll make sure that you can collect your book on the Wednesday next until stocks last. Dr. Kangwa, can you still hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Okay,
If you
okay,
can
you're
try to
very
be on
silent.
video, that will be fine. Because we would want to also see the book if you have it.
Okay, I don't have the book with me right now,
Okay,
but I
that's
was
fine.
saying
That's
that
okay.
with the video, I'm just a little bit apprehensive about the connectivity.
Yeah, it's very poor
Maybe
today. So maybe
it's
just go
very
ahead to
poor.
speak.
So
Mhm.
maybe I can just for a few seconds,
Yes, we want
I
to
can
appreciate
do
your
that
beautiful
just
voice.
in case you think you're talking to someone else.
Yes, please.
Let me just switch on my camera for a bit.
Okay.
Can you
There
see
you
me?
go.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so it's the same person you met a couple of months
Yes.
ago. Thank
Yes.
you.
Why
Okay.
your testimony there? Why your testimony is important? It's because you are speaking to people that I mentor. Some of them have been mentoring them for 5 years and
Oh,
gave them
wow.
some instructions to do. Up to now, they haven't done. We met once, had a conversation once. We spoke that day, and you implemented just immediately that day. And today, you are an author. Now, that is what I need you to emphasize on the importance of, acting on instructions and how it is important when you meet certain people to maximize and leverage on that.
Thank you so much. And you're spot on, Doc. I think that Perhaps I won't use the word instruction. I'll use the word encouragement and advice and persuasion, perhaps. I find that you're a very persuasive individual. You're very clear with what you're saying and very generous with advice. And I think that's the environment that a mentor should give a mentee. When we met, it wasn't a mentor mentee relationship, but it was an attempt to collaborate to see where we could work together. But I think both of us had very open minds and we discussed more than just a collaboration. We tried to find out about each other and what we were doing in our respective spaces. And so, an open mind, um, reception to feedback is very important as a mentee because you choose a mentor because they inspire you, isn't it? And the job of the mentor is to help you become the best version of yourself. In my case, I think I was open to discussion with Dr. Kangwa. And like I said, she's persuasive, but she allows you to express yourself in your own way. And what drove me to take her advice, take it on, is the way that she packaged it. She didn't just say, go ahead and write a book. She said, I've written books before, and these are my experiences. And I think that so and so would be a great help for you. So she gave me all I needed. And I think from my end, it was now trying to be intentional about this. I've always wanted to write a book, but perhaps I never met someone who encouraged me the way that I did, and the way that she did. My advice to people who are being mentored is to take everything that you're learning in the relationship of mentor and mentee seriously. You are there to learn and be inspired. Don't waste any time. A mentor is not going to be there for you 24/7. But when they are, you need to maximize the time that you have with them and leverage and exploit the opportunity. And I think that's what I did. I exploited the opportunity. I was given the number for Mr. Kasanda, and Doc was right about him. He's a great editor. I think he does more than just edit your work. He teaches you how to be an author. And so that's what I can say about taking instructions, being intentional, and aligning yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's you who is aspiring to be developed. And therefore, you also have a job to do. You can't just keep absorbing information and not doing anything about it. Doc, I hope that I have tried to explain or support what you are saying about being
Yes,
intentional.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
it's
Hmm.
important as we are learning from each other to be intentional. That's your responsibility as someone who's receiving advice. So in the book, um, I open by talking about understanding what you're dealing with. And in corporate governance, it would be the systems and the structures. What are you dealing with before you start to act? That's how I open my book, and that was very deliberate because most of the time, or um, often, You find that people are just going to work. They don't know why they're going to work because they don't understand the organization. And so the first thing is first understand what you're dealing with before you can even communicate to anybody or claim to manage anything in the organization. The book goes further to get rather personal with corporate actors. Who are you in the organization and how can you improve yourself? How can you grow? What kind of attributes should you have to be able to grow as a corporate actor? For you to be able to get to where you aspire. I think there's nothing wrong for with anybody aspiring, being ambitious. I think what is wrong is being um, ambitious without guidance, without direction. So all of us want to be CEOs, all of us want to be board members, all of us want to be shareholders. How do we get there? What kind of personal attributes should you have to move on and progress in the corporate governance landscape? I also speak about a personal signature, um, and other people call it branding, personal branding. And what I advocate is that personal branding should start quite early in your life. Don't wait to be a CEO to think about personal branding. Personal branding comes at different levels. Obviously, with experience, you'll be a consultant, but first you have to get the experience. But before that, as you build yourself, as you aspire, try to imagine yourself a certain way. And I speak about something called mental rehearsal, rehearsing your vision, walking the talk, and doing it within your permutations. So for me, the journey of being a corporate actor has a lot also to do with your personal development. I also speak to those that are in authority, those that supervise others, leaders. What does it mean to be a leader in a corporate? What kind of qualities do you need to have? What kind of leader are you? I also speak to the modern ways of leadership. Now leadership is about leading a team and also leading thought. And there's a lot of discourse out there now that makes leadership more scientific, but it is moving away from being authoritarian and very premised on positions. Leading a team also means that you put in something as a leader and you are available for the people that you influence. I speak about followership as well because I believe that those who are led also have a responsibility um, to ascribe to leadership, to make it easier for the leader, to make an effort to understand the objectives of the team. And as a company secretary, of course, that's what I've been doing for a long time as my regular job. I do dedicate a chapter to company secretaries in organizations, but my focus is on the evolvement of the role of a company secretary. Traditionally, a company secretary is a scribe, somebody who takes down minutes. Not so. In modern parlance now, a company secretary is an executive officer. and is required to be what is called a T-shaped professional, somebody who is just not versed in company law or law itself or accountancy. They must have knowledge of other aspects of the business. And so I'm expected to understand financial reporting. I'm expected to understand marketing. I'm expected to understand human resource. I'm expected to be a strategist um, in this position of a company secretary. Company secretaries have now earned their place to be considered for chief executive officer, board member, because of the added responsibilities to that role. And so to the company secretaries, I don't only speak about the modern way of doing things because not everything has changed, but I have gone into some kind of personal detail in relation to execution of the job of a company secretary. As company secretaries, we go through a lot and we don't really discuss what we go through. We do a lot of dispute resolution and conflict management, and sometimes we feel as though it's only happening to us. And I thought that writing what I have about a company secretary in the book would give comfort to my colleagues and also encourage them to sharpen their skills. And like I said, this is a book that takes you right through. It takes you through executive management as well. Some people are lucky to be appointed into executive management positions, and they may not have the experience, and that can be very dangerous because when you're appointed as a chief so and so, the expectation is that you should be able to deliver on that role. And so I speak about some of the things that members of executive management will learn, or members of executive management will have to um, do to be able to discharge their functions. I speak about board members and the expectation of the organization of leaders at this level. I speak about the expectations of the various stakeholders of an organization. An organization has got a number of stakeholders. The shareholders are stakeholders, the board is the stakeholders, the executive management, the employees, the suppliers, the lenders, all these are stakeholders. And corporate governance is used to manage these relationships. But there are things that we go through as we are trying to manage these relationships and balance the various interests. So I do speak about that as well. And I close the book with an invitation to everyone to make the world better. And I think for me, I'm very strong about that. There's so much going on in the world. And I think everyone has a role to play to make the world better, whether it's through corporate social responsibility, corporate environmental responsibility, a mentorship responsibility. There's so much that we can do. My contribution is what I do, and my latest contribution is a book. And I hope that this book will inspire thought on various practice matters in relation to governance. I was saying at my launch on the 28th of June that Sydney asked me why I wanted to write a book. It wasn't very easy to convince him. And the first time it didn't work out. So I asked for some more time. And I realized that I actually didn't know what I'd like to do with the book. And I needed to think about it. And in thinking about it, I discovered that perhaps unconsciously, I had already figured out that I wanted to be a thought leader. I wanted to lead thought in the area of corporate governance practice by discussing principles, but with a lopside towards practice. And so that's in a nutshell what the book is about. I hope that you can get a copy. It's very reasonably priced, in my opinion. It's only 450 kwacha for the investment. I recommend that anyone who aspires not just to work for an organization, but also to own an organization should buy that book. I do speak about um, businesses outside your workplace and how you can handle those. I'm one of those who has a side hustle, and I've had some experiences which I share in the book. So, with that, Doc, I think I'll pause here for you to speak.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you. That is so amazing. I think for me, what also caught my attention in our conversation when we were discussing was the vast of experience, that you have, and really placing yourself in a place where you want to help others. Because I know that along the way, as a young professional, there were things you didn't know, and you wouldn't want the young professionals to also go into that space ignorantly and make certain mistakes that can derail their career. So, by you being that thought leader, there is a way you have also positioned yourself in the digital space that people can still learn. And coming on this call, for me, it's for everyone who's listening to learn that there is a lot of wisdom and experience that is in Leah's life. And so the packaging it in the book is what will cause you to avoid certain mistakes. You cannot reinvent the wheel when certain women have walked the road, they've gone into the boardroom, they've broken barriers. There are different things that she had to face in order for her to earn the position that she has and the several positions that she has held. And all those things are packaged. Maybe briefly, as we'll be now starting to conclude, maybe just talk briefly, how is it in the corporate space as a woman leading, especially in Africa, because you are not just a thought leader for Zambia. The taste of what you have lived is actually continental. And so you are speaking to the young Leah. You are speaking to this young professional who, desires to get to the top, to become a CEO, to become a board chair as a woman. What challenges did you face, and how can the young professional avoid some of those pitfalls?
Thank you, Doc. I must say from the outset that I think I'm one of those lucky people who was raised not seeing the difference between myself and the next gentleman, or when I was younger, the next boy. And so it's always a challenge for me to speak about personal experiences with being a woman, whether it's in the educational environment um, or elsewhere. But having said that, I do recognize that being a leader and being a woman can have challenges. And I think that perhaps the challenge which I have faced, um, being a woman executive or a leader, is being in the minority in terms of gender. I think almost we were almost uh, half women, but that's just one experience. As we speak, I am the only woman on executive management um, where I work. And there is obviously a stereotyping that goes, I think, with culture. And I have learned to see that negative stereotyping from afar. When I was younger, I think the way I dealt with it was more brutal than how I deal with it today. Um, Today, I've found more effective ways of dealing with negative stereotyping. One of the things that I make sure to do is know my stuff. I make sure that I know my stuff. I make sure that my confidence levels are high. And I don't see anyone as uh, somebody that can intimidate me. Um, what I can say is that it's something that I have been intentional about, and the way that I respond to it has evolved over the years. And I have written an article very recently, I think over the weekend, on this same issue. And I think my perspective towards those that negatively stereotype others based on gender is I felt a bit of empathy towards them because I felt that they had succumbed to weaknesses in their respective personalities, and how those personalities have been shaped either by society and so on. And so there are personalities that have been shaped believing that a certain gender is weaker and should be looked down upon. I now feel sorry for those individuals because I think that it is a form of weakness to succumb to that kind of stereotyping. You don't see merit as a big consideration. You just see the way somebody is made wonderfully and fearfully by God, and using that as a leverage to take advantage. So for me, really, uh, I am every day growing, every day coming up with things that work for me to respond to this kind of stereotyping. And the other thing I can say is that some of it is very internal to us women. Women have a lot of power, personal power, which they choose to just use in certain places. They choose to use that power, perhaps in the home, to run their homes. They choose to use that power um, for matters to do with emotions and things like that, but do not search themselves and find the power uh, that they need to be able to discharge corporate duties. And so it's been interesting, it's been challenging, but I think that my aspiration is always to meet my challenges and beat them. And I do not, I try to avoid trivia. I try to avoid non issues. I ask myself, what role have I played in this situation? Even when somebody is negatively stereotyping, I ask myself, what role have I played? Have I exposed myself to this person for this person to think they can get away with this and that? So I hope I have, in a way, answered your question, Doc.
Yes, you have even more, actually, even more than I actually asked. I think what I also picked from your answer is choosing your battles. I think sometimes we may find ourselves battling with ourselves as women or as a woman. I could be battling with my own idiosyncrasies. I could be battling with my own imaginations of how the corporate space is because somebody told me about stereotyping and so on and so forth. And therefore, when I step in there, sometimes I can actually be um, disadvantageous to my own, strongholds. So having an open mind is what I've picked from what you're saying, and just choosing battles. When something has happened, also just asking yourself, like, what did I contribute for us to get where we are? Or for me to be treated the way I'm being treated. There are certain internal battles that we also fight. So, in conclusion, please just tell us about where to find the book, how much, and I think for some of the mentees that are listening, we will be able to get your details and maybe just get to lay get the rider to drop them at the office. It can be easier, for some of the people that are listening, those that are under our mentorship, for them to get the books at our office. So I think just in conclusion, just talk about the price again, in case there are people that have just joined, and where they can find the book.
Thank you, Doc. The book at the moment can only be ordered through payments by Airtel Money on 0971 650 976. So you can pay on this number and WhatsApp the notification, and we'll respond to you and deliver the Wednesday next. So that's how the book is available. The price is 450 kwacha. Thank you.
Okay, there you are, our listeners. That was our amazing corporate governance guru who is doing amazing stuff and just helping, especially young professionals. If you are a young professional, please get to follow Dia Tonga Ngoma on LinkedIn. You will find her just by those names. And every day she's saying something. She's a thought leader, by just design, the way she's just been designed by God. She just shows up with different concepts to help you become an amazing, professional person. She doesn't just speak to a woman, she speaks to just everyone. So if you're a man, you're a woman who desire to grow and really, break some barriers within yourself,
in the corporate space, she's a go-to person. Remember that in my book, Boardroom to Bedroom, I have talked briefly about the boardroom. And when you now want to hear more about the boardroom space and all, our book has elaborated, has gone into the details, but also you can engage her as a personal mentor to help you, grow in your career. As a sponsor, as you know, you have to be sharp. You have to own your brand and be sharp enough to know that there's head search, that somebody has to speak something in that corner. Somebody has to say something in that boardroom when they are discussing your name. So these are role models. These are people who have, you can follow through their track records and they are succeeding in both spaces. So I would like to encourage you, for those who are looking for a mentor, to hold their hand as they are walking the road of success in the marketplace, get in touch with Leah. If you didn't get the number, please just get in touch with me. I'll be able to give you the number. I'll be able to give you the number to send the money for the books and so on and so forth. So for anything that you would require after this conversation, please do get in touch with me. Thank you so much, Leah. I know I had to just catch you on gunpoint. You have other things going at the hotel. So thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.